Hello everyone, my name is Eriksson and I'm the editor of the Astronomy Education Journal, and I'm going to talk about publishing astronomy education research today. The outline of my talk will follow this structure. First, I'm going to talk about writing scientific articles overall, and then I'm going to talk about publishing astronomy education research in different journals. And I'm going to end up with talking more about the Astronomy Education Journal. So writing scientific articles, that is something that is, it takes a lot of effort to do that. You have to have some good story to tell, of course, and you're going to tell it following very known traditions when it comes to structure. Such as, for instance, when you build your story, you're going to have to follow a structure saying something about an introduction, where you present your ideas or problem or whatever it is. And then you have a background section where you tell what others have done. You can end up with the research questions that did place here. And then you're going to have to talk about the method or a methodology that you used in your project. You're going to have to present your results. The conclusions from your results are very important to discuss and relate back to the background section, for instance, and also the theory that you use. You're going to have a section on implications, where you discuss your findings and how they can be used in astronomy education. Usually we also want a summary at the very end, where you summarize your ideas and the whole paper in a sense. Acknowledgement is always good to have if someone has helped you or read your manuscript during the way or discussed your ideas, etc. And then, of course, a very carefully tailored reference list. So this structure is something that I urge you to use when publishing. And also, when you look at different journals, they have their ideas about how this should look. They have their templates, etc. Just as for the Astronomy Education Journal, of course. So when it comes to writing scientific articles, there are common formats that you must use. And usually it is Word, Microsoft's Word, or possibly a latest template that you can use to produce a PDF, for instance, that you can submit to the journal. And my advice to you is that when you prepare your manuscript, do follow those templates for the different journals. It makes it so much easier for your paper to get accepted, I can assure you that. Also think about the language. Most journals accept only English manuscript. There are, of course, exceptions where Spanish, Portuguese languages are common, French, Japanese, etc. But there is also national ones in different languages. But if you want to be a player on the international arena, English is the language to use, I would say. Sometimes different journals accept abstracts to be bilingual. And that goes for the Astronomy Education Journal and for RELEA, the Spanish-Portuguese Astronomy Education Journal. But first of all, I want you to think about what and who you want to make an impact on. What do you want with your paper? And who do you want to read it? These are two questions that I suggest that you answer before you start writing using a particular language. Because if you write in a language that very few people know, it's going to be really hard for them to find your important work and understand it. So think about those questions before you start your writing. And there is a number of journals that you can use to publish astronomy education papers, journals, and astronomy education research articles. We're talking about the Journal of Astronomy and Earth Science Education, for instance. We talk about RELEA, American Journal of Physics, Physical Review, Physics Education Research, European Journal of Physics, International Journals of Science Education, and International Journal of Science and Math Education, and many more. However, none of these have a clear and intended astronomy education research focus or tradition, except for JAISE and RELEA. Historically, there was the Astronomy Education Review Journal. It has ceased to exist, but there is a repository of all the articles still remaining and searchable, which is fantastic and very good. 2 years ago, we announced the Astronomy Education Journal at the first International Astronomy Education Research Conference at ISO in Garching in Germany. And now the first issue of the journal is to be published during autumn. We have a set of good articles in it now that is going to be published as the first one. So therefore, I turn now to the journal that I am editor for together with Paulo S. Botons. And the Astronomy Education Journal it is, and here we have the webpage address for it. And the aim and purpose of the Astronomy Education Journal is to meet the need of the astronomy education community by providing a location for all manners of practical, newsworthy, and scholarly publications involving developments in the field. In the sense, the journal tries to capture the original spirit whilst taking on board the important lesson from the now out-of-print Astronomy Education Review Journal. By focusing on building community collaboration, disseminating important news and opinions, while also maintaining a section on more formal technical astronomy education research papers. The aim is thus to publish astronomy educational aspects of teaching and learning astronomy, not astronomy research articles per se. We focus on the teaching and learning aspect of learning astronomy. The language is English, but the abstract can be bilingual. And we aim for 2 issues per year as a start. The first one is to come very soon. We have 2 distinct target groups here. And the first one is astronomy educators and practitioners. And these are the ones teaching astronomy at various levels of the educational systems. And then also we have the astronomy education researchers. And these are the group of people that focus on researching various challenges for teachers and learning, that teachers and learning encounter when teaching or learning astronomy. And it falls under disciplinary-based educational research and uses the same methodology used in social and educational sciences. We have different sections in the journal, so and we aim to kind of look in that sense similar to the CAP journal, to the Nature journal and Science journal, and we incorporate both peer-reviewed and non-peer-reviewed articles. And as you can see here, for research, we have that particular one, and we follow the high standards similar to the other journals, of course, and aim to be part or exist in Scopus eventually. It takes a little time to get there, but that is definitely the aim for us. And on the educational section, there are more less formal, non-peer-reviewed, but edited and curated sections containing different materials that you can use in teaching as news, announcements, interviews, etc., etc. There are those 2 sections, and consider that when you think about publishing anything of your work. And how to do it then? Well, when you're preparing your astronomy education research manuscripts, you must follow the structure, of course, that is similar to all other educational research journals. And it is very important to be clear and concise in your writing. And again, I urge you to follow the structure of the journal. The different sections in the manuscripts must be very well developed. Arguments must be clear and referenced. And we suggest that you follow APA when it comes to referencing. All manuscripts will be sent to referees for review. More than one, of course, 2 or 3 referees will usually get the manuscripts. We have no publication fees, at least not for now, which is of course very good for you as a writer. If your manuscript eventually will be accepted, we will typeset the manuscript and send it out for proof, send out the proof for reading before publications as usual. If you want to write something about astronomy education, then of course you are more free on how to present your ideas. But we again strongly suggest that you write very clear and short to increase readability. These manuscripts will be curated by the editors and editorial board members if necessary. So go to the webpage for the journal for more information and prepare your manuscripts. So thank you for submitting your well-written manuscript to the Astronomy Education Journal.